before working with Paloma, life was chaotic as a business person. Um, I was really avoidant with and inconsistent. I would say that's like the two main things, and quite panicked when I needed to create, um, and also to some degree deliver. Less so with deliver, but still mostly around logistics. And what I learned with Paloma, and now with Paloma, so much has happened. So it's only been 3 months. It's only been 3 months. And I went through like a dark night of the soul in that time. um, and before I was crying on our first couple of calls about how much responsibility I needed to really step into. What I really got was I was lacking integrity with my relationship to money, with my relationship to my enoughness and self-worth. I was looking for validation. I was looking for proof. Um, and everything felt exhausting. Like putting a course together, even though she's like, that's a great idea. And I know it's a great idea too, but that just felt like so much work. Or getting on calls with people to share what I'm about felt like everything was at like there's a lot at stake. Um, and there was this gap between what value I know I do deliver and how to translate it to the audience that would really benefit from this and believing it. Um, and so I know that I'm an expert, but I didn't know how to express it, um, keep it focused, and hold them accountable to their greatness because I was indecisive with myself. There are moments where I felt it and I'm empowered, and a lot of moments where I was like, I don't know, maybe. Um, so it was inconsistent, and my clients, potential clients, were feeling that too. So after working with Paloma, I really got to see how these deep identity shifts needed to happen. The first thing that she worked with me was around my identity, which I really appreciate now, and getting me to hold myself accountable to a higher version of myself, and to get that the things that were blocking me were um, like old patterns that needed to die to make space for something else so that I could actually birth the things that I know I needed to birth. But there were blocks that were in the way, and these were old limiting beliefs of myself. Um, she's also helped me make that very practical with, this is how you make a meditation. This is how the scripts that you can use with your clients. This is the identity that you can speak to yourself in your new version of you as you're expanding, like bougie me. And I get to be that bougie me. Um, and really identifying with that expanded version of myself. And now I have fun with it, in short. Um, and because I actually in 3 months I did birth a master class, my first online course, which is like 3 hours worth of content, and I also created an online assessment for people to come into my ecosystem to assess where they are relative to how I teach them how to be with their intimacy and pleasure in their life. And so now I have all the ingredients that I need to market myself and then show up for sales calls and practice. And so I feel, 10 times more confident to go out and do that now with clarity and with structures that I can practice. So I'm so pumped. It's been worth all the investment. So definitely sign on.
Yeah.
So how coaching with Maloma has changed my relationship with money? So many things. I realized that I've been afraid of money or just chaotic with it. It's either I like spend to no regard, or I avoid like releasing money. Um, and I've had scarcity mindset around it, a lot of scarcity. And everything was really severe. Like if I made the right decision, the wrong decision, it was a big ass deal. Um, and that had so much to do with the way that I was brought up and how money was modeled in my family. And what I got with Paloma is that doesn't have to define me. Um, everybody has a version of that that gets dealt with as they start to run their business, especially high ticket. And coming from really connecting with my zone of genius and developing the integrity to align my beliefs with my value, and but not collapsing the two that I need proof. So the parts that really unearthed for me was feeling enough, regardless of how much money I have in my bank account, regardless of if I got the sale, regardless if they believe that my services are the right price point or whatnot, is irrelevant. So separating and discerning that I have value to offer, and it doesn't need to be proven to the clients, potential clients, or to people working with me. And I can go ahead and continue to work in my zone of genius independently of what I am creating as a clean energy exchange between my clients and me for the genius that I do have. And trusting that I can create a container both in my language and also in my services to allow for that exchange to happen. So it's a lot of mindset shifts and structural containers, both physical, like a course, like a masterclass, like my packages. It's that structural awareness that I need in order to allow for my genius to be exchanged, and also in my language so that I don't energetically bleed my genius without getting the exchange of the money. Those have been very practical things that has helped me connect the value of creation and how to create cleanly and get the money that I deserve for that exchange. But really, in order to sell at that level, it's really fundamentally that I don't need validation and I don't need proof. So separating those two was a big shift that made a big difference for me to actually have a healthy relationship with money and healthy relationship with creating. She points out a lot of really real, important, and poignant parts of you. And it's needed in the right way. She gives a lot of love and support. And you got to also learn to give yourself a lot of love and support in the process. That is part of it. And trusting that you can do it. And the people around me who've known me for a long time have also tried to say these things to me. And it's been beneficial to have someone like Paloma say it, even though I have such amazing community who've known me, who have also been trying to tell me the same. So Paloma does bring this necessary intensity if you're willing to go and like excavate and just point out the root. And so if you're willing, she will go there.